marked another essay, and I want to justify myself because I think it's always important to justify yourself as a teacher. So let's have a look at the question here. It's, should we spend money on exploring spaces? Must be exploring space there. I'm not sure how that got in, but space is uncountable when we mean the cosmos. Yeah, so should we spend money on exploring space is the question. And we need to write about spending priorities, what we might discover in space, and your own idea. And the student has color-coded these. The first paragraph is spending priorities. The next paragraph is what we might discover in space, yeah? And the last paragraph is your own idea, okay? And so it's been very clearly labeled for me, and I do appreciate that. And I thought this one was very well organized. The ideas in it are very well organized, but I'm going to try and show how it can be just made a little bit more focused, yeah? Because we want to make sure that all of these three things that we write about focus on this question, and it's quite tricky. So let's have a look. Human nature. I don't like human being nature. We say human nature, or we say human being, meaning a person, a human being, but human nature, I think, is best here. Human nature makes people eager to study the unknown. I didn't like eager towards what they don't know yet. Eager to study, maybe, what they don't know yet. But I changed the what they don't know yet to the unknown. And it's because I could see that in the next part, you are trying to say that, and this space is what we don't know yet. Yeah, right. Space is the unknown, and it's easier to use a noun like the unknown to represent space rather than a whole clause, what they don't know yet. Yeah, it kind of sounds nicer to just say, makes people eager to study the unknown, comma, such as space, comma. And then this is nice at the end. And so it is quite impossible to avoid costs from exploration beyond the atmosphere. And so I do recommend sometimes breaking this intro up into different sentences, but you don't have to. That's fine, what you've got right there. I'll give a little example of what I would have written if I wanted to say exactly that. Something like this. The human race has always been eager to study the unknown. So pretty much the same there. Semicolon. Even in ancient times, man's curiosity drew his eyes towards the stars and beyond. So I was trying to kind of get the idea of beyond the atmosphere. In one sense, it is difficult to imagine that one day man's desire to explore space will stop and the associated costs will be avoided. Yeah, because I thought that was the spirit of what is written there in the first paragraph, and it's a good introduction. So let's go on to the first part, which is about spending priorities. Governments dealing with money allocation should take into account some serious problems in order to create a more equal society in which everyone has enough food and money to cover at least their primary needs. That's a good start. There are no mistakes there that I can see. And all I would say now is connect that idea to the question. It just makes your essay really focused, and it shows the examiner that, yes, you are answering this question when you talk about spending priorities. And so to do that, you only need, what is this, about 10 more words. I reckon you could do it in fewer, but just these social problems, yeah, the one you just described of people not having enough food or money to cover primary needs, these social problems ought to be prioritized over all space missions. And then that shows how focused you are. You're saying, this is an argument that that says that we shouldn't, just spend money frivolously. We shouldn't fritter away our money. We shouldn't waste our money on space without first thinking about the problems here on Earth in our societies. And so it makes that paragraph very strong. And yeah, you're using really concrete examples here of the problems in society. And so that's a really strong argument. That's good. But do tie it to the question each time. And I'm going to show you an example on the next paragraph now of how you tie this to the question. And this paragraph was all good, but I didn't like this as unusual wanders for people. I think you mean as unusual trips, yeah, for people. And you can say that, yeah, that they have been already been planning journeys to Mars and to the moon as unusual holidays for people, you can. But because you'd already got in the second part here, hoping to find new minerals, or maybe hoping to meet an alien civilization, because you'd written the hoping twice, I thought, why not do it 3 times? Yeah, because you're making 3 different points here. You're saying that they're planning journeys to Mars and to the moon, but why? Well, they're hoping to sell these as exotic holidays. They're hoping to find new minerals, and maybe they're hoping to meet an alien civilization. And then you've got 3 nice hopings, and it's parallel structure that we're talking about once again. It's just how you improve your writing and how you improve your speaking as well. I mean, how you improve your use of language. It really is. It all depends on parallel structure. It's a really interesting topic. So I've put hoping to market these exotic trips as leisure activities, hoping to find new minerals, and hoping to meet an alien civilization who could be about to reach us. And I would say again, connect this to the question, because it's great. You've certainly, I don't think this is easy, this task, by the way, where they ask you to write about this and say whether you should spend money on exploring space. But I can see what you're saying here. You're saying, you might be saying this. Some have complained, and they certainly have, that the billions spent on these frivolous missions, should be directed towards helping the poor down here on Earth. And again, it's just like what you were doing here with these social problems ought to be prioritized over all space missions. You're relating it to the question. And the same here, you're relating it to the question, the point that you've just made about these tycoons, that some have complained that this money's wasted. It would be better spent on the poor down here on Earth. So that's 2 paragraphs where you've mentioned both of their ideas, and you've shown how when you've talked about these 2 ideas, you've concluded that perhaps we shouldn't be spending so much money on exploring space, because perhaps we should be using that money first for our poor and our needy. And they both made that point very forcefully. So that was good. And when you mentioned concrete examples like tycoons and Mars and the moon, excellent. Everybody knows who you're talking about. We all know these guys. And it makes the argument stronger because it ties it down to Earth, to the same Earth that we all experience. Now, this 3rd paragraph, in my opinion, just see if anybody's here. Hello, Suksadi. Hello, Vitaly. Hello, Amit. And hello, Lolly. This 3rd paragraph contrasts and it's the 3rd part of the main body. That's what I should call it. It contrasts with the first 2 parts. And you can see this right here because this is why I changed it from furthermore. Furthermore doesn't sound like a contrast. Furthermore sounds like moreover. It sounds like something in addition. It sounds like you're going to introduce an argument which backs up the first 2 arguments, but you don't. You say so this is why I want, on the other hand, having a deeper knowledge of the universe might let us come across planets on which you live on a planet, on which the human species can live in the far future. In the distant future is quite perhaps better. I don't mind far future, but just in my opinion, that collocates better, distant future. When the sun will become too hot, not so hot. If you want to say something is too hot, so isn't the same as too. So just means, very. Too means too very, it means too much, too is always a criticism. So the sun will become too hot to allow, hot is an adjective, 2 plus infinitive after adjectives, too hot to allow people's survival on Earth. So excellent point. It contrasts, so use on the other hand. Here we're saying it's a good thing, we should spend money on space exploration, but again, it's worth connecting it to the question. It will make it super. It will make it get top marks. The survival of the entire race, this is my example, the survival of the entire race ought to be prioritized over the survival of the minority. Note the parallel structure, survival of the entire race, survival of the minority. And in this sense, the huge amount of money spent on space research is justified. And then you're being really clear and you're saying, so this is the opposite argument, that it might save our skin one day, space exploration. It might ensure the future survival of the human race. And so, on the other hand, space exploration, money spent on space exploration is justified. So that's the contrasting argument, and that's why on the other hand, or however, or nonetheless, or nevertheless, something that introduced some kind of contrast. Okay. Let's have a look at the last part. And this is the conclusion where we have to answer the question. And she's done very well here in the conclusion of answering the question. I think she's doing exactly that. So I agree with the choice, she said, which is okay. But I think policy is better. And it's just because, so there's nothing grammatically wrong with choice. But policy makes it clear that you're talking about the government. Yeah, you're talking about government policy of should we spend money on space exploration or not? And so it ties in nicely with governments. Yeah, and it just makes the whole essay hang better. Hang together better. It makes the structure better because you're talking about government policy. So I agree with the policy of investing money in space discoveries because it's not reasonable to think that we are alone in this vast universe. Excellent point. And that ties in nicely with aliens that you mentioned earlier. So brilliant. So we had better investigate. No two after had better. Had better and would rather, or without two. Yeah, I would rather go, I had better go. So we'd better investigate. This will be fine. No, beneficial, advantageous. This will be a good thing. Yeah, this will be beneficial to us as humans, provided that, on condition that, which means this is first conditional, you've got will in the other section, which is good. And with first conditional, you have present and not will in the other part as well, If it is hot, I will go for a picnic. And this will be beneficial, provided that those resources aren't deducted from the ones or from the funds, but I mean, actually, I prefer ones, from the ones designated for our primary Earth needs. Yeah, that's good. Ones is fine. From the ones designated for our primary Earth needs. And that's a good conclusion because it's really focused on the question. So you can see what I'm trying to get across here. I'm trying to get across the idea that you should focus. You don't have many words, and I do agree with someone might say, you've added a load of words to that. You'll never be able to use that many words. And I agree with that criticism. I do. But that means that each time you make a point, tie it to the argument or have it immediately tied to the argument of, should we spend money on space exploration or shouldn't we spend money on space exploration? And it will mean that all of your essay is relevant. All of your essay is focused, and it will make it better organized, and it will get it a higher mark. Okay, so I do hand out these marks at the bottom in quite an arbitrary fashion, so I wouldn't pay much attention to the numbers in some ways. It's what I'm telling you here that I think is more important. So I thought there were excellent concrete examples, tycoons, Elon Musk and all that lot, excellent concrete examples to support your arguments, so well done. Just for top marks, try to tie each point to the question. I think even if you just do it in one of these paragraphs, it will raise the mark very noticeably, just because it really shows the examiner that, yes, I'm answering the question with each and every sentence. So the style's great. Nothing wrong with the style. It's academic. It's good. Criticism here of furthermore, if you're contrasting, and that was a perfect part to contrast that, on the other hand, this might save our skin one day. This might save the human race one day. So it really needs an on the other hand or however. The main body is impressive, as there aren't many errors, and you are looking for that, of course. I talk about policy, government policy sounds better. It relates back to government policy. Note the parallel structure in the hoping, and don't forget about first conditional. So I hope that has been useful to everybody. I do indeed provide private lessons via Skype to many different people, Mr. Zuhaib. All you need to do is send the Bitcoin to my wallet and you can even get a discount. That's all you need to do. You need to use the money of the future, which is Bitcoin. If you are living in Europe or the UK, you can use Bottle Pay to do this, and so you can get yourself a discount on lessons. I'm currently offering a 25% discount on lessons if they're paid in Bitcoin. And so anybody who's interested in classes at a discounted rate just has to get their head around, wrap their head around how to send cryptocurrency. And it's really not hard, I'm pleased to say, as long as you've got some kind of account like Bottle Pay. But it's not really that hard with some of the other ones either. But yeah, if anyone wants to claim that discount, please get in touch. You can get in touch with me using the contact form on my website, skype-lessons.com. You can leave a message under the video and I will certainly get back to you if you're interested, seriously interested in classes. And so, yeah, do get in touch, guys. If anyone wants exam classes or any kind of classes, speaking classes, or just improving style and grammar, then please get in touch and I'll be delighted to help out. So thanks everybody for watching, and I hope to see you all soon.